Monday after the Masters. Me and you appeared on Friday, and we were best friends saying, ain't no way Tiger Woods is going to win this tournament. And look what happened. Bettors pulled down millions of dollars in this, a bloodbath for the books. And Teddy, one of my most favorite things here moving forward is golf is now viable because of betting. Look at it all, Teddy. It's right here for us.
Exactly. And hey, let's start with me and you. I'll do it. I'm going to eat a big bowl of crow on this one. I came out like 5 years ago saying Tiger's never win. He'll never win another major. Oops. Obviously, this past weekend, neither you or I or any bookmaker that we were in contact with expected what we saw. And you see the quotes coming out of the books. They got crushed. I mean, crushed. Nick Bodanovich from William Hill, who paid out over $1 million on one bet for Tiger Woods. Quote, "It's great to see Tiger back. It's a painful day for William Hill, our biggest loss ever, but a great day for golf." You know, Jeff Sherman over at the Westgate Superbook, quote, "I thought he had a chance to be competitive, but I'm a little surprised by him winning, especially with the competition he faced." I said before the tournament, if you took the Tiger Woods off, you'd have a golfer with the stats of someone at 25-1 odds. Obviously, he went off at less than that, but we saw all kinds of books get bashed yesterday. You know, look at BetStars, who were talking at 100-1 on Tiger, and well, $10 we'll let you bet on that. They took a beating on that. FanDuel paying out more than $2 million in winnings from their Mega Eagle contest. I mean, bookmakers around the country got absolutely annihilated with Tiger's win yesterday. Nobody expected it. Not the bookmakers, not the pundits, the betting public. Hey, you guys got this one right.
Yeah, I've been on doing sportsbook review shows for years, as you have also, Teddy. And I've been a constant proponent of betting with Tiger Woods. I had a nice little run, but look, it's fun. I'm huge in the moments of sports, Teddy, same way you are. I like to tune in, even if I don't really like the sport, but if it's a championship moment, it's a lot of fun to watch. And also, let's not forget on Sunday, this wasn't handed to Tiger Woods, Teddy. Never coming from behind in a major tournament to grab the win, comes in behind, and he was down as many as 3 shots, and then you saw heading to the 12th hole. The minute Molinari went into the water on that par 3, you knew it was on and popping the rest of the back 9. And you're right. This was a leaderboard, Teddy. This wasn't, mix and match, some ham and eggers out there. These were the best in the world going toe-to-toe on the best golf course. And I really enjoyed myself yesterday. I really did.
And let's give credit where credit's due. Look, I was wrong. Everybody was wrong. Here's a quote from Matthew Primo, the senior vice president of operations for BetStars, who the ones that gave out, that $10 at 100-1 on Tiger. His quote, "I believe my direct quote was, 'Guys, there's no way Tiger is winning this tournament.'" Whoops. Big whoops for them. Big whoops for us. And again, kudos to those of you who were ignored, didn't listen to me, didn't listen to Donnie, and got a bet down on Tiger at some attractive odds. Obviously, yesterday he showed why at one point he was the best golfer in the world.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really good, compelling TV yesterday. The one thing, Teddy, if you were an over better yesterday in the NBA, and from that fact of the matter, on Saturday or Sunday, sit back like, hey, man, I like some scores. NBA's been up all year. Let me go ahead and throw down the gauntlet. Let's just take some overs on Saturday and Sunday. Didn't work out too well, Teddy. Each and every game stays under the total.
Yeah. I mean, 8-0 to the under in game ones of the NBA playoffs. And we talked about this concept last week when we were previewing the round one series, the round one series, saying this has been the highest scoring regular season in modern NBA history. Let's see how that translates to the playoffs. Well, it translated to the playoffs with an 8-0 run to the under, and most of them weren't even close. There was the last game of the night, last night, Utah and Houston stayed under by a hook. Brutal if you had the over in that ball game. Everything else, I mean, they were steady unders. And of course, you have the Celtics Pacers that stayed under by more than 50. If you average them all together, you say, all right, the game stayed under by more than 16 points per game in game one of round one. You take out that Celtics Pacers game, say, all right, well, that one was just the one. No, they still stayed under by 11 points a game, even taking Celtics Pacers out of the equation. Under bettors with a glorious weekend in the NBA. Over bettors, not so happy on Monday morning.
Teddy, I have a question for you in the NBA, because when we take a look at numbers, and the numbers are going to be what they are, but through the NBA season, obviously, when I talk about back in the day, I'm just talking about like mid 90s, where 179, 188, 190 was a really high total. Now we're seeing routine numbers 220, 225, 230, and higher. Are these numbers changed for the playoffs as we approach and play the playoffs? Or do they just say, hey, you know what, Teddy? The numbers are the numbers here. Golden State scores X amount. This team scores X amount. This is what the number is. Because I know in our heads when we think about playoff basketball, all right, it's going to be a really tough game. Every possession matters. In the last 3 minutes, they really clamp down. Is that the case when they're setting these numbers for the playoffs?
Well, when it comes to the first, game one of round one, it looks like they used a lot of regular season averages. And obviously, we're talking about regular season averages, and they're going, those are weighted. They're weighted for recent form. They're weighted for performance against superior squads as opposed to the lottery-bound squads. But the bottom line is whatever adjustments were made off of those season-long results, well, they weren't big enough, big adjustments for game one of the playoffs. We've seen the markets adjust somewhat for game two, but we haven't seen any of these series where, game one's lined at 232, and then by game four, we're looking at 212. Haven't seen any of that yet, but we might if these games continue to stay trending under the total the way they did, obviously, over the weekend.
Teddy, we talked on Friday. We say, hey, you know what? Tiger Woods hasn't won a major in over a decade. He's not going to win it. Chris Davis, will he ever get a base hit, Teddy? As soon as Saturday shows up, Chris Davis goes in the hammer and Hank mode and goes 3 for 5 with a couple of RBIs. But just as soon as that streak is broken, Teddy, in 0 for 4 on Sunday, and then right now they're actually playing a Major League Baseball game in the morning in Boston. He's 0 for 1 today. So do we start a new streak, A, with Tiger? And do we start a new streak here with Chris Davis where we could just rerun it all the way back?
Well, if Tiger starts a new streak, there's a lot of money to be made from it. If Chris Davis starts a new streak, I'm not sure how we can bet it unless you say, for the DFS players, don't take Chris Davis today. Take the pitcher going against Chris Davis today. That's certainly a possibility. And look, obviously when you go 0 for 54, it's not like you don't hit anything. He didn't strike out 35 times during that span. There are a number of balls that he tattooed and hit right at somebody. Well, on Saturday, he finally tattooed some balls that weren't right at someone, had a big game. But then there he goes back yesterday. And so far today, would Chris Davis be a mainstay in my starting lineup if I was a manager? Well, I suppose if I was paying him $100-something million, I'd have to get him in the starting lineup. But let's give him credit for breaking the streak, and let's not make too much of it. I don't know how much money we can make off of Chris Davis's failures.